What happens when they do find out? What happens to those who their whole life has been the Bible? There's so many people who have, you know, the Bible is what keeps them going every day. What will they have to replace it?
Ask the Russians in Russia today. Ask the Russians in Russia today, what is it like when you find out that you've been hoodwinked, that your government was not the most powerful, the most wonderful government on earth, and now it has totally collapsed. Now what are you going to do? You trusted, you brought up your children, you wasted your entire life, and you went along to get along. And now what happens? Your whole world is collapsing around you. And why? Because you didn't do your homework and you didn't stand up for what was right when you could have. You went along to get along because it was comfortable at the time, and now it's very uncomfortable. And I'm saying that that's what we all have to do, is look at the uncomfortable facts, that nothing is permanently on this earth.
That nothing is permanently on this earth.
No.
Let's see.
That there were 15. Now let me ask you something. Are you aware that there were 15 other major religions? This is history now.
Okay.
Not conjecture, history. There were 15 major theological religious movements in the world before Christianity that taught exactly the same identical story of a Messiah who came to the earth, who was born in a manger, who died on a cross, who had 12 apostles, who died with a crown of thorns. Are you aware that there were 15 major religions that had the same identical teachings of Christianity? Most people aren't. And I'm very suspect of a 16th religion which is copied off of 15 previous religions, and I am told that this one is the truth. I become very suspect. That's the way I am as a teacher and as a researcher and a writer. I become rather suspect, and I tell you something else I'm very suspect, and that is the connection between government and politics today in America. I think both should be investigated, and that's what this book attempts to do. Look behind the scenes of both our authorities in the world, religion, politics, and money.
So when that happens, people will actually have almost a renaissance of themselves.
Let us hope so.
And a whole new type of person can come about.
I think you will agree that that's what we need. Our country is in trouble. Our families are in trouble. Our whole human race is in trouble. And basically we can boil it down to three problems we all share on this earth in common: religion, politics, and money. And I'm telling you the three are not separate, they are all one, because in the ancient world the king always represented not only temporal power but also heavenly power. He was the connection between the people and God. That is why today we have you cannot get married in this country today in America. We are told that there is a division between church and state. No such division exists. If you want to start a church, you must get a 501c3 permit from the government. You must get permits. You must pay the fees. You must do all of these legal things, the red tape of government, before you can set up a church. Now, once you've set up the church with all the government's permission and permits, you cannot get married in this country unless you have a marriage license first. Then you can go to the minister and be married. And if your marriage doesn't work out, you don't go to God. You go to a judge in the courtroom. I'm telling you, there's something going on here between religion and politics, and it's money, it's power. And until such time as we're willing to look at what's been going on in this country for over 200 years and be open-minded, because your brain, your mind is like a parachute. It don't work if it's not open. I'm telling you, we can be exploited if we're not willing to open our minds, open our hearts, and say, let's look at the facts. Because the fact is, all over the world, people are being led by religious leaders. Ayatollah Khomeini and Saddam Hussein are just two of many people. And in this country, we put things on the back of our car, support our troops in the Middle East. You don't even know what they were doing in the Middle East.
Do you think that has something to do?
And politics.
Okay, religion and politics. Do you think that has something to do with this, what we call this New World Order, this global unification?
That you can bet on.
You do?
I think that I can make a very good case of that in a court of law if given an opportunity. If you look at the symbols on the back of the $1 bill, the pyramid on the back of the $1 bill, Above the pyramid, on the back of a $1 bill, look at it. You'll see an annuit coeptus. Annuit coeptus in Latin means our enterprise is now a success, or our project is now a success. Look at the wording on the banner beneath the pyramid, Novas Ordo Seclorum. Novus Ordo Seclorum is new order of the world, the new world order. Why is an Egyptian pyramid on an American dollar bill? Are you aware of the symbolism going on here, like the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C.? You know what the Washington Monument stands for? It stands for the male erection. And it connects right down the waters of life to the Oval Office. The Oval is the female. The Washington Monument is the male. It has to do with religion, it has to do with sex, it has to do with political power. And we take these instruments and we take these symbols and we think they're so marvelous. Do your homework and you'll find out that so much of what we consider to be holy and righteous is in fact nothing more than sex, religion, and money. And most people pretty well know that, but no one has actually bothered to confront the establishment. I hope to do that. I want to confront the establishment for the one reason I think that the truth is an idea whose time has come. I think we've all been manipulated and exploited, and it's time we look at the real truth.
Yes, well,
Rita, the Bible is called the greatest story ever told. The greatest story, not the greatest collection of facts, not the most paramount document on earth, the greatest story ever told. It's a story. One must know how to read the symbols and the emblems and the terms. And that is why
the symbols in the Bible
symbols
too?
are in the Bible everywhere. I mean, did you know, for instance, that the book of Revelation was not written by Christians? The book of Revelation was around for at least 500 years before Christianity ever came into existence. The book of Revelation was already in circulation. No John ever wrote the book of Revelation. His name was Ion, I-O-N, from the Ionian Sea. And when in Latin, when you change I's to J, it becomes J-O-N. But in the English, it becomes J-O-H-N. So that today we're told that John wrote the book of Revelation. No such John ever wrote the book of Revelation. It was written 500 years before Christ was ever born. I'm not saying there's not good spirituality in the Bible. I am saying that it has been twisted and used by political powers for a political agenda to keep us ignorant, ill-informed, and unread, depending on the Lord to come back to help us, when in fact there is no Lord coming back to help us. Education, knowledge in your own personal spirituality, and investigation of what the story is really about. Do your homework. That's the only salvation we have left.
There's no Adam and Eve?
No,
Or
the word
Christ? What about Christ?
Adam comes from the word Adam. No, that's why the Hebrews do not take part in Christianity. The Jews do not accept Jesus as the Messiah, and many Christians jumping to conclusions say, well, the Jews don't accept Jesus. That's because they hated the Messiah. No, no such thing is true. The reason why Jews do not accept Christianity is really rather simple. They know the story. And they know it's just a story. It's the Gentiles that don't know this. What we need to do is wake up and find out that this is a story. What is the story telling us? I am convinced that there is a divine essence to us, and so I have no problem with spirituality.
What makes you convinced?
Well, I'm talking about organized religion.
No, but what makes you convinced about that we do have a divine spirituality?
Oh, I think that there are far too many things that happen to all human beings that we know that there's more to life than just us. Okay. I think that we've all had too many experiences. Every one of us have had experiences, some even more so than others.
Right.
But to prove that there is some sort of a spiritual dynamics to our life. I myself have had many experiences in a spiritual way to convince me that I am not here on this earth by myself, that there are spirits here. I believe in a God or a creator. I have no problem, as I said, with spirituality. I have a very big problem with government, money, and religion.
Yes.
That's my...
somewhat contaminates the
Oh.
the beauty of the
Absolutely.
divine essence
Absolutely.